My dad wants his daughter from his affair to live with me, and I refused, but I just came home to find her sitting on my couch with no plans to leave. I was debating posting this, but since no one in my close circle can be neutral, I'm seeking advice online. When I was 14, now 29, it came out that my dad had been living a double life behind my mom's back, having a 1-year-old daughter, now 16, with his employee. It was a huge scandal. My brother, now 31, refused to speak to our dad for a full year, and I haven't been able to look him in the eyes since. I'm not sure if mom knew or just didn't care, but she was desperate to keep her husband, maybe because he was the breadwinner and made good money, who knows? But after lots of therapy and counseling they stayed together. That didn't mean his other family was rejected as you'd expect. Dad stopped seeing the other woman romantically but stayed friends with her, and mom and her developed this weird sister-wife relationship. At every family gathering, there was that woman who knowingly and willingly nearly destroyed another family. She knew Dad was married and didn't care, and the baby my brother and I, were supposed to treat as a sister. We've never felt like a real family since. My brother refused to join holidays like Christmas or Easter for years, but he changed his mind when Ailey, I'll call my half-sister that for clarity, turned 4 and decided to be her big brother. It was a sudden shift, though he still won't speak to Dad or Ailey's mom. Maybe I'm jaded, but I've never seen Ailey's mom as anything but a homewrecker and a horrible person, and Ailey is the result of that. I know Dad's at fault too, but back then it was easier to be mad at them than him. I've never seen Ailey as a sister and made that clear, causing ongoing family tension. It's too much to list everything that happened, so I'll skip to the main issue. Ailey recently decided to switch high schools due to some issues I don't care about. To clarify, in my country high schools can have specific specializations like art, baking, hairdressing, etc. Just examples off the top of my head, but I'm not sure how common they are. Ailey was at a general high school that's typically a stepping stone between regular high school and university, but it was apparently too demanding, so she dropped out and applied to an art school. She's not an extraordinary artist for her age, but good enough to get into a decent one near my house. Ailey and her mom live near my parents, who are 3 hours away, so commuting wouldn't be impossible but would be tough. 2 days ago at a family dinner, yes, Ailey and her mom were invited. To my dismay, the topic came up. They discussed it, maybe hoping I'd offer my home, but when I didn't, they asked directly if Ailey could live with me during the school year, Monday to Friday, going home for breaks and weekends. I work in art as an illustrator, so they think it'd benefit her to be around real artists, which is funny because they've called my profession useless. Here's why I refused. There's a dorm right off campus with decent living conditions. Not a 5-star hotel, but fine. I don't like Ailey and made that clear. We have zero relationship. Besides being related, there's nothing about her that makes me want to take her in. My brother lives closer to the art school, just an hour away, feasible, and he actually likes her. When I needed help and asked Ailey's mom as a last resort, she laughed and said we weren't family, so her current insistence that we are is irritating and hilarious. My apartment is modest. Yes, 2 bedrooms, but I rent the second to my best friend. They didn't ask nicely, they demanded, and when I hesitated, they swarmed me like vultures. Apparently, Ailey doesn't want to live with strangers in a dorm due to anxiety, which I get, though I lived in one with 2 strangers I didn't even like. She's my sister anyway, and God wants us to be family. I'm atheist. My brother's girlfriend is pregnant and due soon, so he doesn't want Ailey around that chaos, and his girlfriend gets nervous around strangers, the last thing she needs. I should kick out my roommate for family, and it should be obvious to let my sister live with me. Again, she's not my sister. I don't know her, never tried to, and don't want to. I don't want to know if I'm the asshole. I probably am, since it's not her fault she was born this way. Anyway, I wanted to think it over before refusing to at least pretend I considered it seriously. But the night went from calm to screams and demands in seconds, so I said no immediately and stood firm. Things calmed when Ailey ran out, presumably home. Then they told me to leave, which I was doing, and said we'd discuss when I was ready to act like an adult. In which case, I better sign up for kindergarten before it's full. I made it clear, ignored Ailey's mom's text to talk, and didn't answer Dad's calls. I won't tolerate being yelled at and demanded like that'll change my mind. User, prepare for them to show up with a moving truck full of her stuff. Warn your roommate and don't let them in. OP, I'd laugh, but I know they might just leave Ailey at my door. They're the my way or no way type. User, block them, it's not your responsibility. If it's so important, maybe her mom should move closer to the school instead of forcing a 16-year-old to live where she's unwanted. I wouldn't go there. Seems like a lot of drama, not a good, healthy place. Why keep subjecting yourself to such a toxic, unhealthy dynamic? Therapy might help you not hate what you're going through, but I wouldn't engage. You can love them from afar. OP, they mentioned it. Ailey's mom considered moving, but it'd be hard for her to find work. Plus, I tolerate it because overall we have a good relationship, excluding the two I don't consider family. We see each other twice a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, and stay in touch via WhatsApp, but these Sunday outings are routine. OP, once Ailey left, Dad and his ex-mistress said they'd told her she'd have to behave very well and be respectful for me to take her in, so my no must have been a shock. Apparently, she was even saving money to help with expenses, though Dad likes to exaggerate to make his statements sound better, so maybe she was lying. I don't know. Still, it's messed up they acted like I'd just accept this girl. OP, I haven't talked much to Mom since seeing her literally beg on her knees not to leave her for this 20-something, which was, as the kids say, pretty cringe. But from what I gather, Mom thought, well, it's done, better make the best of it, and really buried any resentment to have a relationship with Ailey. Plus, she's an immigrant with no one else here, and going back to her country wasn't an option, so she stayed despite it all. Both my brother and I have urged her to divorce him and live with us. We even started renting a bigger house for her, but she backed out at the last minute. It's sad. Worst is Dad was willing to leave her for his mistress, but she convinced him to stay. I pity her most. Oh God, you have no idea. Ailey and her mom don't always come, but when they do, they don't warn my brother and me, or give 5 minutes notice. Maybe they're forgetful or maybe on purpose. They know I hate Ailey's mom and have mixed feelings about Ailey, so if I knew ahead, I wouldn't go. My parents' house has 2 spare rooms and Ailey and her mom sometimes sleep over. It's weird. They don't often, per my parents, and it's shocking how Mom went from proud and stubborn to nearly being cuckolded openly under her own roof. It's cathartic venting. Only my roommate friend gets my view. Others excuse it or call me an idiot, not to mention how well my brother seems to handle it all. One Sunday I walked in and saw Ailey's mom in a towel brushing her teeth. I left. Mini update, what I feared most happened. Right now, Ailey is in my living room after showing up out of nowhere at my apartment, and my friend let her in because she was having a panic attack in the hallway. I really didn't think this would happen. I considered it as a joke, a what if. I think Dad and Ailey's mom are divorced from reality if they thought I'd just let this shit slide. We'll update later. Update in the same post. Sorry for the delay, I wanted to update ASAP but a lot happened. On the day of my quick update, as I said, Ailey showed up at my door. My best friend called after letting her in. I started calling Molly, the ex-mistress. No answer. Then Dad, leaving a dozen missed calls before reaching my apartment complex, and he finally picked up. He responded to my polite request to remove Ailey with a counter that I should leave things be, then softened, I'll pick her up tomorrow. I said he'd pick her up from the police station tomorrow and gave him until midnight for him or Molly to come, or I'd file a report. I know I should have done it sooner, but like everything, it's complicated. Plus, Molly already has a minor charge. Nothing crazy, so she'll probably avoid another. When I got home, Ailey was crying on the couch. My roommate briefed me. She'd arrived, was shocked to see him instead of me, asked if he was visiting or leaving. He said neither. That sparked a one-sided argument where she got bolder, yelling louder while he asked her to quiet down, until she had a panic attack. I wasn't there and he kept calling it that. I have no reason to doubt him. Then Ailey turned on me yelling I'm a horrible sister, liar, leech and more. I get horrible sister but liar and leech? I finally calmed her enough to talk without alerting the whole floor to our family drama, and got this. For at least 6 months, or since Ailey decided to leave her old school, Dad and Molly used living with me and attending a good art school as leverage. Things like, get good grades or no living with OP. What? You're leaving that school anyway? Clean your room or hand over your phone? And worse, like ditching certain friends or deleting social media. Basically, Ailey had been banking on living with me for months. I can't lie, I felt really bad for her. I didn't doubt her because that's how Dad motivated my brother and me. Promise something big, use it as blackmail, then it's a coin flip if he'd follow through. Molly told Ailey I'd agreed to a trial week, after which she'd go home to Dad's and spend the summer prepping for the big move. No idea why they promised that, knowing I opposed. Maybe banking I'd cave, since unfortunately I've backed down before to keep peace, figuring with Ailey there, I wouldn't crush her dream. As horrible as it was our first real talk. 40% bashing Dad, 40% bashing Molly, rest our talk. I don't love her now or plan to adopt her, but no harm, no foul. She slept in my bed while I waited for her parents. Dad arrived around 11 p.m., mad seeing her asleep, asking why I didn't let her stay, but I was angrier. After hearing Ailey's side, he was curious for Molly's, though he took it like a man, couldn't really defend himself. I unleashed a 5-minute rant at rapper speed, so when he could speak, he'd probably forgotten or not understood half. He just said he'd call later to talk. Well, it's later. Curious how it'll end. I'm so emotionally drained I barely worked and crashed platonically in my friend's bed. We've done that since we were kids. Thanks for comments and advice. Couldn't use them this time, but made a to-do list and will tackle it when I find some life in me. Update less than a month later. Apologies for silence. Wanted to update sooner but no time or energy. Thanks for assuring me I'm not crazy, though this update isn't necessarily happy. For those who missed my mini update at the end of the original and wondered, Ailey showed up comically soon after posting. I threatened Dad to pick her up or I'd call police. He did, promising explanations, though it took time. Last week I visited him face to face. No excuses, what I learned was wild. Ailey's mom is in dire finances. Could blame poor headspace before having a kid, but she's childish in many ways. Something about traumatic childhood, armchair psychology, I don't know or care, but she's really hurt her daughter. She took out tons of loans unlikely to repay with her job, so now facing foreclosure, I think that's the word, losing everything to pay debts. State garnishes her salary, leaving minimum wage, not enough to live on, right? Molly decided to sell her apartment and downsize. Initially wanted Dad's house, but Mom put her foot down long ago. No Molly or Ailey staying over a week except special occasions like repairs at Molly's complex. Molly eyed a tiny studio apartment, glorified chicken coop, I've seen it, meaning cramped living with Ailey, so they tried dumping responsibility on me. Really expected me to take her. Oh. Not many will like this, but I let Ailey stay temporarily, impossible to live with. Won't detail, but she's clearly troubled. Never noticed since we never spent time together. Night terrors exhausted my light sleeping, physically demanding job best friend. Ailey didn't clean up after herself and stole my watch, so I told Dad to fix it. I wouldn't tolerate it. He begged me to take her, saying she'd improve, and while I believe the burden might ease over time, I'm not willing to endure it first. Finally offered to host if she went to therapy, but Molly doesn't believe in it. Surprisingly unsurprising. Thought Dad would take her, but Mom refused outright. They fought, she had a panic attack and was hospitalized, so Ailey went back to Molly. Molly was mad at me. Says I'm the only one who can make space but won't because I hate her, and Ailey, hate strong but part of it. My brother piled on despite his damn house. No, I must suffer because his girlfriend just gave birth, like I care. Same guy who said blood is thicker than water when I said my friend lives here and I won't evict him for Ailey, but guess my blood doesn't count. Things are in limbo. Dad still tries convincing Mom, meanwhile passive-aggressive comments to me. Molly sends passive-aggressive texts. Brother side-eyes me. Thinking of going no contact. It hurts seeing my whole family turn on me. At least I have my best friend. Furious at exhausting him so long and caving to Dad, but grateful he's still here. Not sure if I'll post again, but will if more happens. Thanks again for assuring me I'm not heartless and for advice. User comment. No contact with him. Therapy if you can. Your comments on how Dad treated you and your brother suggest you'd benefit. What do you gain from this soap opera? OP. Entertainment? In hindsight I'll laugh. Oh. But now, besides a barrage of messages calling me awful, nothing. No contact's hard. I already have little, but I worry I'll go crazy like them if I don't. That's it for now. Subscribe for more stories and future updates since the last post was a week ago.